Are you taping again? Come on. I don't know why, but I just love it here.
Is it possible to improve upon perfection? It's a question many fans have been asking, and with a lot of uncertainty surrounding the project, Bloober Team's CEO spoke with Rolling Stone about all things Silent Hill 2 Remake, namely the widespread apprehension from parts of the fan base. Since the official announcement in October of 2022, fans have been combing over every image and trailer for inconsistencies and faults with the game. But can you blame them? Konami had ghosted the series for years, and their previous efforts have been questionable at best. The last time they even acknowledged Silent Hill 2 was with the HD collection, which was rife with bugs, performance issues, and unwanted changes. On top of all this, the remake is being developed by Bloober Team, who's mostly known for,
I think I'm gonna die on camera. I think I'm gonna die on camera.
Silent Hill 2's impact on the genre is immense, and Bloober Team's remake has a lot to live up to. Are we wrong to be skeptical? Is it really unfair to have high expectations about something that's so special to so many? Should gamers just shut up and play? In a landscape where remakes are often facing extreme scrutiny, I'd like to take a closer look to see if all the skepticism is even warranted.
Silent Hill.
Silent Hill 2.
Silent Hill 2, released in 2001, is a survival horror game where protagonist James Sunderland searches the town of Silent Hill after receiving a letter from his dead wife, who appears to be waiting in their special place. It features all the mainstays of the genre, including classic tank controls, limited supplies, and plenty of puzzles. What really set Silent Hill 2 apart from its contemporaries, however, was its story. Don't get me wrong, things like the audio design are still what many consider to be the gold standard for games in general. But the plot and themes tackled by the game just haven't been done before or even since. It's truly a mature game, one that respects the player's intelligence and isn't afraid to explore topics such as grief, the nature of reality, and sexual abuse.
Lost?
These themes are realized through some of the most authentic and naturalistic voice acting I've ever heard.
But you know what? It doesn't matter if you're smart, dumb, ugly, pretty. It's all the same once you're dead.
So what do you want then? Oh, I see. You're trying to be nice to me, right? I know what you're up to. It's always the same. You're only after one thing.
No, that's not true at all.
You don't have to lie. Go ahead and say it. Or you could just force me. Beat me up like you always did. You only care about yourself anyway. You disgusting pig. James.
Mary? Oh, Maria. It's you. I thought you were... Sorry. Anyway, I'm glad you're alive.
Anyway? What do you mean, anyway? You don't sound very happy to see me.
I brought you some flowers.
Flowers? I don't want any damn flowers. Just go home already.
Mary, what are you saying?
Look, I'm disgusting. I don't deserve flowers. Between the disease and the drugs, I look like a monster.
The cast's role in making us care and believe in these characters is so important, and without it, none of this works. And we know that to be true, because we suffered through the HD collection.
Bye-bye.
Wait! Come back! Eddie! Let's go after her. Huh? Laura? Why? Laura? Is that her name?
Well, that's what she said.
This town is full of monsters. How can you sit there and eat pizza?
And with that, Silent Hill 2 would lay dormant until one fateful night, over a decade later.
In my restless dreams, I see that town. Silent Hill.
Oh no! Oh no!
So the rumors were true. A Silent Hill 2 remake, helmed by Bloober Team, was on the way. Seeing the updated visuals and hearing the familiar sounds of Akira Yamaoka was enough to make even a jaded gamer like myself excited. But with how much this game means to me and many others, it was more of a cautious optimism. The announcement had some fans jumping for joy and others looking like this. Plenty of studios have tried their hand at remaking or remastering their games, some to great effect, and others, well, not so much. But we'll talk about that later. It would be over a year and a half before we got to see the game again, and let's just say, it wasn't what many people were expecting. The collective eye roll of fans was heard around the world. What the fuck was this trailer? The combat in Silent Hill 2 might not have been much more than a means to an end, but James going the way of the Raccoon City Police Department was not at all what fans had in mind for the remake. At least, not what they wanted, and they made that clear. Shortly after this, the CEO of Bloober Team claimed the trailer did not capture the spirit of the game, and that Konami is responsible for the marketing of the game, not Bloober. Previously, Bloober Team had responded coldly to a fan inquiring about the game during the over year-long hiatus since its reveal. When could we expect to get some news on the remake, or is that up to Konami? It's kind of hard to be stuck in the fog for over a year with nothing new. Even some screenshots would be nice.
Konami is the publisher of the game, and communication is definitely part of their job.
You don't have to lie.
What the fuck is going on between Bloober and Konami? Why do they seem at odds with one another when they're collaborating on the project? How your game appears to the fans and general audiences is unbelievably important, especially from the publisher's perspective. They expect us to believe there was zero communication from Bloober about the trailer. This feels like a cop-out to me, and with no statement from Konami regarding the matter, I call BS. While Bloober Team CEO might claim that players will judge things completely differently when they see, quote, real gameplay, Konami is presenting said gameplay in the fucking trailer. Sure, he's likely talking more about the pace as Silent Hill 2 is not a run-and-gun adventure, but if you're not pleased with how the combat looks in your own game, is that not a major red flag? It's beginning to look like all of the skeptics were right, and that this was just another remake that misses the mark. I'm sure I'll get a lot of flack for this take, but to me, a Bluepoint remake might as well be the nail in the coffin for classic games. While their remasters of Metal Gear Solid, Eco and Shadow of the Colossus, and the God of War HD collections were about as good as anyone could have asked, the reason they were so great was they respected the originals. They made them look cleaner, load faster, and run smoother, without messing with the integrity of what made them classics in the first place. That was until they started outright remaking games. I don't think many can argue that the visual fidelity of these remakes, especially Demon's Souls, are top-notch. They're good-looking games. Bluepoint, however, decided to take liberties in the form of art, lighting, color, game balance, and audio. Not only that, but they seem to lack an understanding about what made them classics.
How do you think one is able to maintain the soul of a game in a remake?
That's a great question. So, when we look at doing a remake or a remaster, we've gone well beyond remasters now. They really are true remakes. We try and identify, as Alexis said, the core, the soul of the game, and that is what we keep. Working with Bluepoint was incredible. Working with Marco and Peter, the chief technical officer, and how they work and how they sit their engine over the top of the existing engine and strip away everything apart from what we identify as that core or the soul, which for Demon's Souls is the AI and the gameplay. And then we build everything back on top of that. So the collision, the camera, obviously the graphical elements, the sound is built over the top. So even in Demon's Souls on the PlayStation 5, you're still running the core programming essence of the original on the PlayStation 3.
They also don't seem to have reverence for remakes that came before them. Creative director for the Demon's Souls remake, Gavin Moore, spoke with Polygon and said this: "We've been thinking about doing a remake of Demon's Souls for years. It's one of the most beloved games in the PlayStation catalog. It's the most requested title for a remake that we've ever had. But I was always a little afraid of tackling it because it's so beloved. It wasn't until we redefined what a remake was with Shadow of the Colossus on PlayStation 4 that we felt that we could take on the challenge of Demon's Souls and do it justice." Redefined what a remake is? They put a coat of paint over the original code, and that's what redefining what a remake is? How about the original Resident Evil remake? Or Ocarina of Time 3D? Or Black Mesa? Or Twin Snakes? Or Halo CE Anniversary? Or Metroid Zero Mission? The scope that these remakes were, remade, completely overshadows Bluepoint's work. But that's enough about them, because Bloober Team's main source of comparison comes directly from their main rival in the genre.
Under Wonder Roost. I've located Baby Eagle.
Resident Evil 4, much like Silent Hill 2, is one of my favorite games ever. While I love Silent Hill 2 for its character, story, sound design, and tone, Resident Evil 4 is this super campy action-adventure that never gets old. Explosive set pieces, cheesy one-liners, and awesome gameplay just set it apart from everything else at the time. So when the remake was announced, it was hard for me not to be skeptical. But considering the amazing work they did with Resident Evil 2 Remake, I knew this would be more of a reimagining than an attempt at a true remake. And Capcom did not disappoint, as it was one of my favorite games from last year. It kept the spirit of the original while carving its own path. And while some of the voice work is questionable at best,
you can stop right there, Leon.
due to the cheeky nature of the game's story and characters, it didn't hurt the game overall. But with Silent Hill 2, the core of the game is its characters and story. If they can't make us care, it's gonna all fall apart. Interestingly enough, we still don't have a definitive answer for this remake being either a faithful reproduction or a reimagining. And with Bloober Team claiming a playtime of around 20 hours, which is considerably longer than the original, who knows? Konami broke the silence once again on the remake when they released more footage, as well as finally announcing the release date.
Excuse me.
sorry. I was just...
It's okay. I didn't mean to scare you. I'm kind of lost. I'm looking for Silent Hill.
I have to give Bloober Team credit. They clearly heard the feedback and are trying to change things in the final stretch before release. Gone are the stupid QTE button prompts, as well as what looks like adjustments to a lot of the animations. A lot of stuff still isn't perfect, like James's first encounter being a struggle to escape from an enemy that doesn't have any arms. But we gotta take what we can get. Konami had more to give, however, because soon after, we got the story trailer.
James? Honey? Did something happen to you? After we got separated in that long hallway? Are you confusing me with someone else? You were always so...
The trailer alleviated many fans' worries about the remake. But for myself and many others, it did just the opposite. Maria's delivery during the cell scene comes off immediately sinister in one note. It doesn't portray the duality of the character at all, and that's the essential part of the scene. I'm also very surprised they decided to show the final Angela scene and use her final line in the trailer.
You see it too? For me, it's always like this.
It's clear that they were trying to stay true to the original story trailer from 2001, but this scene is completely absent from there, and for good reason. Why did they decide to show it? It doesn't help that Angela seems to be giving Ada a run for her money. Oh, you see it too. From one of the most crushing lines in the game to some throwaway for the trailer. It's really disappointing. Also, I don't know what it is exactly, but Maria's proportions make her look like a fucking Dress to Impress character.
That's a no crumb zone.
No crumb zone.
I will say, I love the moment with James seeing his reflection in the TV in the hotel. It's a very clever motif, if a bit on the nose.
See? I'm real.
Gameplay-wise, well, I still have my doubts about that as well. Over the last few weeks, we've had quite a lot of footage of the early sections of the game. The combat still seems to be missing a lot of impact, either in the audio, or the weak-looking gunfire, or the way hits look and feel. The dodge mechanic makes Pyramid Head seem inconsequential. I'm supposed to be scared of this guy when I can wave dash back like Fox McCloud? The inventory system got a facelift, and not a good one. It's now uglier and less functional than the original. Neat.
今来たらやばいって。一応持ってるものと回復ね。1個だけあんな。1個だけありますね。はい。使います。
The save mechanic makes its return, but it's a little goofier than I think they had intended. We've known for a while now that there will be new puzzles, but these boxes don't inspire much confidence. This happens twice just in the early hours of the game. Push the box 3 feet to continue, and you can't move it once it's been set. Are there secrets to be found if I push it elsewhere? No. Then why make it movable? And if there is, why can't I move it after it's in place? It's baffling. Finally, we have to talk about the fucking community surrounding this game. I don't necessarily mean fans of Silent Hill. There's all these disparate groups who are either hyper defensive of the remake, or anti-woke bros, or weird stan culture that feels wildly inappropriate for the game's subject matter. James is not baby girl or Pookie. I'm sorry. And all of this before any of them have even fucking played it. There are more people complaining about the remake than there are people complaining about the remake. It's insane. Honestly, do your best to avoid Silent Hill Twitter and Reddit, because it's just a bunch of random screaming about nothing. I realize this video likely comes off as overly negative, but the truth is, when I saw the extended gameplay footage, no commentary, lights off, headphones on, it happened. I felt it. That magic that the original game captured, it's still there. In those moments of slow exploration, the fog rolling in, the eerie music, every piece of scraping metal and radio chatter, it's all here. I was back in Silent Hill. I guess James finally made good on that promise, huh? Remember? To take us back?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Look, Bloober Team's work on the remake does not diminish any of the work Team Silent made on the original, because the original isn't going anywhere. The remake is its own experience, and whether it fully captures and engages me, or has me laughing all the way to the end credits, I'm gonna try and enjoy it for what it is. So I guess Bloober Team won in the end. I'm gonna give Silent Hill 2 Remake a chance. If you made it this far, I just want to say thanks for watching. I work a regular ass job, so I gotta carve out a lot of time to make stuff like this. But if you want to hear me yap about anything else, like and subscribe. It helps a lot. I highly recommend everyone, from new fans to Silent Hill vets alike, to check out the excellent work from the team over at Silent Hill 2 Enhanced Edition. They recently released the latest and final version of the project, and it's the best way to play the best game ever made. Until next time, take care and stay safe.